Okay, so find the standard deviation of the following distribution of scores. So very similar to what we just did. And again, I'm going to show you how to do all this by calculator. Doing this by hand takes a long time, and it's just not a real great use of time, especially when you have graphing calculators. And again, most of your scientific calculators will do this as well. You're just going to have to figure out how to do that. But I'd highly suggest doing it on the graphing calculators because it's fairly simple once you get the hang of it. Okay, so we're going to do same thing we did before. We're going to enter our data. And again, we don't want this old data in here anymore, so we're going to go up, highlight list 1, and hit clear. Don't hit delete because it'll take the list out. Just hit clear. Okay. If for some reason you don't have these, like if yours starts with list 2 or list 3 or list 4, then you're still okay. Just enter your data in, and we can fix it at the end. But, so here's what we're going to do. We're basically going to enter the scores here into list 1. And then we're going to enter the frequency here minus the total part. We don't put that in there into list 2. Okay? So let's do that really quick. 11, 12. And again, to go to the next one, each time just hit enter and it will scroll down for you. Get to the right so that we can go to the next column, and then now we enter this in. So we got 3, 4, 5, 2, 8, 9, and then 5, 8, and 6. Okay, and all the data should match up there. Okay, now we're going to go back into stat, and again we're going to calculate. And it's still just considered to be one variable, statistics. So we hit enter. And then now, before you hit enter again, we actually have 2 lists of data that we want to consider. So now what you want to do is you want to do second. And then you hit list 1. And this is where if you didn't have a list 1, 2, or 3, like whatever your first list is that has the scores in it here, that's what you're going to put here. So if yours is list 4 and list 5, you'd put L4 and L5. But ours, we're going to do list 1. And you put a comma, and then you use second, and then you do, see how there's a little L2 right there? There's list 2. And now we're going to calculate. Okay? So, again, we're going to assume that these are all the possible scores, so we're going to take this one down here. I call that the super O. Again, I know that it's got an actual name, but I like super O better because it's like an O with a little cape on it, so it's super O. So our standard deviation then would be 2.382. So the standard deviation equals 2.8. I forgot already. 382. All right. So found our standard deviation. And we're good to go on that. Alright, let's try one more with a little bit different type of question, and away we go. We're going to find the standard deviation again. Only thing different here is that we have, instead of like actual scores here, we have this frequency distribution, right? Okay, so what we're going to do here is on this continuous type data here, that's what this is called when you have from 0 to 9. When you have this continuous data here, what we're going to do is we're going to find the average of these. So the average of 0 to 9 is just 4.5. Okay, so this is going to turn into 4.5. That's going to be what, 15.5. 15.5, and then we have 25.5, 35.5, 45.5, 55.5, oops, 65.5, 75.5, oops, 5s. Sorry, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. 85, 0.5 and 95.5. 5, not 9. Okay. So we have all those, and then we're going to put our frequency next to it. 1, 1, 2, 4, 11, 16, 24, 13, 6, and 2. And I'm just getting all that data from right here. Okay. And now we go back in and do the exact same thing on our calculator where we enter in all that data. So we're going to edit, go up to the top. We don't want that one, and you have to push down, go over, highlight list 1, clear it, and go down, and then we're going to enter in all these pieces of data here. 4.5. Uh-oh, I put 15. All these should be 4s. Sorry about that. That is a big fat mess. Let's just make this right. Alright, I can erase all these and put in what they're actually supposed to be. Sorry about that. Okay. So this one is 4, 14, 24.5, 34.5, so forth and so on. Okay, so we're going to put all that in our calculator. Oops. Okay, so there's all of this column here, and then we just got to enter in our frequency in the next column. So 1, 1, 2, 4, 11, 16, 24, 13, 6, and 2. Okay? And then we just do what we did before. We just go back into stat. We're going to calculate. We got one variable stats, and again we have 2 lists of data, so we do second, and then we do list 1. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Let me go back, do that again. I forgot to put list 2 in there. So one variable stats, second list 1, comma, and then second list 2, and then we hit enter. And here is, again, we're assuming that this is all the entire population, so we use a super O X here, and we get that our standard deviation is 16.81. So 16.81 standard deviation. 16.81. All right, so that's all there is there for standard deviation. Again, it's much easier to use your calculator, so use that graphing calculator. You can, if you don't happen to have one at home, you can just type in TI-81 emulator into Google, and you should be able to find some that will work just fine. All right, thanks. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.